Hello everybody, hope you're well. Start of another week. This week I'm going to start to introduce you to the golf swing and building a golf swing. But let's review what we did last week. I started off by talking about how we could improve our golf performance without changing our golf swing. I talked about some of the strategies we adopted in the golf course, some of the decision making that we made, and some of the things that we could do to improve our performance without changing our golf swing. And we will come to that in a couple of weeks' time, but at the moment let's just have a look at if there is anything that we need to change in the swing mechanics. Okay, so I introduced you to a hammer. And I did ask if any of you had any training on how to use a hammer. Some of you may have, but I think the majority of us wouldn't have. I certainly didn't. And I talked about how I had, apart from copying my dad, I'd worked out how to use a hammer, one or two mishaps along the way. I then linked the use of the hammer, or learning how to use a hammer, to golf. And I introduced this sort of short, 2 foot back, 2 foot through, slow swing that would allow us to pay more attention to what the club face was doing and what part of the nail that the hammer was hitting, or what part of the ball the club face was hitting, just to heighten our awareness. Short, slow swings to become aware of what the club face was doing and what part of the ball it was hitting. We then talked about some of the basic setup, and that's all it was, basic setup. And then we also talked about how the golf club is designed to operate, how it's balanced, and what impact would look like, what shape we would be in, what positions we would be in at impact. Okay, and I'm pretty sure some of you will not be in that impact position. You might think you are, but I'm pretty sure you're not. Okay, so this week, before we start going on to build a golf swing, I thought we would discuss probably the most common mishit in golf. The most common mishit that amateur golfers make, and that would be a ball flight that's called a slice. Okay, so what is a slice? A slice is a ball flight that starts left of target and curves from left to right and finishes right of target. It's a weaker shot in golf, and it gets us into all sorts of trouble. The compensation for that is quite often to aim even further left and to make it even worse, and it ends up curving even more in the air. So although we start aiming further and further left, the ball still finishes right, and the curve that it takes gets greater and greater. Okay, so why do we slice? I'm going to introduce you to an explanation that will show you what causes a slice. Although we're aiming at a target, we end up delivering the club on an incorrect path, and just from experience we end up trying to fix the situation, and that ends up making it worse. So we deliver the club from an incorrect path, we then open the club face to that path to try and hit the ball to the target, and all we're doing is creating a sliced ball flight. Okay, so let's have a look at what that explanation is. Okay, let's explain what a slice is. Okay, the white canes here, that's the club path. Okay, black line right here, this is the ball to target line. Okay, ball to target line. And the swing path for a slice. Where does the club face aim for a slice? Okay, the club face will be aimed somewhere in here. So interestingly, the slice finishes right of target, but the club face will be aimed left of target to produce that slice. Although the club face is left of target, it's right of the path of the swing. Okay, so if we were aiming at the target, that's us aimed at the target, and then make our swing. The club head is going to come back on this path, so that's out to in, but the club face orientation is going to be somewhere in here. So although the club face is aiming left of target, it's right of the path, so that means that it does deliver some sort of shearing action across the ball, which imparts clockwise spin, which then makes the ball fly left to right in the air. So starting left of target but finishing right. So that out to in swing with an open club face will cause the ball to start left somewhere in this cone, but the clockwise spin will mean that it will curve in the air and will finish right of target. We hit a slice. Is it because we've got a flawed blueprint? Have we been told to hit the back of the ball, and in doing so we don't move correctly and we don't deliver the club correctly? Are we trying to hit the ball straight? I'm sure we are, and we end up making all sorts of manipulations because we're not moving in the correct way. So how do we fix a slice? Okay, now that I've explained what causes a slice, what are we going to change? Well, we need to change the blueprint to one that's more appropriate for what we're trying to achieve. Can you visualize a different outcome? Can you just work out what you would need to do differently to deliver the club on a different path, to change the orientation of the club face? And instead of aiming left, and then further left, and then further left, what would happen if you aimed a little bit right? And then did a little bit of exploration and found out a way from aiming right to actually hit the ball back to your target. Okay, get the club face under control and get a different outcome. So let's have a look at that. Let's see what that looks like. How are we going to fix our slice? Okay, we need to change the blueprint. We need to change the pattern that we think gives us a straight shot, because it's not, it's giving us a slice. So hopefully the explanation I've given you about how we're delivering the club and what the club face is doing is sufficient information for you to change the pattern that you're running. Okay. What you also need to believe is that you already have all of the resources you need to hit a different ball flight. Okay. Visualise that different ball flight and set up for that different ball flight, but you already have the resources. If you were throwing a javelin, I know this isn't a javelin, but if you were, where would we be? Okay, we get into this sort of position, turned, firing to hit that javelin. What would happen if we were going back in a few centuries when we had to use this spear to catch our dinner, if we were spearing a fish? Okay, so where are we? we're spearing that fish. If we then translate that, oh, we're in impact. What does that look like? Okay, so we've already got a lot of the resources that we need. What else do we need? What other information would help you? Okay, I'm sure a lot of you have played tennis. So what would you need to do to hit the tennis ball with a tennis racket to get the ball dipping over the net? You'd be coming in, hitting the ball, yeah? So you'd be hitting the underside of the ball, but working the racket over it to put that top spin so that the ball would go up and over the net and dip down the other side. Okay? So that movement. So we already know what we're doing. Okay? So let's now translate that to the golf club. Those movements. So we're going to be spearing the fish. Gets us to impact. And then that movement with a tennis racket to get the ball dipping over. Okay? So this arm's going to rotate. We're going to get our back of our left hand facing the ground to control the club face, instead of this starting to point to the sky, which is opening the club face through impact. Okay, so that's the slice movement. Club face opening. We want the opposite, so that's the top spin shot that's dipping over the net in tennis. So it's that. And coming from a different position. So let's start to aim at the inside quadrant of the ball. Get that movement away from outside to in with an open club face. Get it from in here. Focus on the inside quadrant. Even do that from all the way up the top here. Work out how you're going to get in there. So I hope that was interesting. What has throwing the javelin or spearing fish got to do with hitting a golf ball? Just have some fun with it, explore. That starts to introduce the correct movements of the body, the correct functional movements for a golf swing that will give you a different outcome to a slice. So if you do slice, let's get rid of that slice forever. On Wednesday, I'll introduce the sort of basic fundamentals of a golf swing. So again, heightened awareness. This is a great opportunity for you to do things. We don't need to hit balls to make changes. We don't need to hit full shots to make changes. In fact, this is the ideal time to make the changes. When there's no pressure on us to hit that great golf shot. We can explore things. We can try things. We can change some of the feelings that we've got in our golf swing without the fear of failure of hitting that bad shot. So let's change the movements, change the feelings, and get you in a great place for when the golf courses open up. Okay, I'll speak to you again on Wednesday. Take care.